Pakai kostum apa Mas Pauli? Hah? Pakai kostum apa?
Semberitannya nggak dibawa Mas? Semberitannya nggak dibawa? Hah? Semberitan.
Thank you so much, Dr. Baswedan, for such a eye-opening talk. And yeah, I really appreciate that you share your experience as an urban leader, as a governor of Jakarta, which I imagine is a very challenging and very complex task to do. And the fact that this is I think that your first time sharing this, what happened in Jakarta to academic audience is something that we're really grateful. So we still have plenty of time actually for question and answer session. So if anyone want to have any question, comments, critics, feel free to raise your hand. Yes, please. Can somebody share the microphone?
Let's line up 2-3 questions.
Okay.
3 to 4 questions, and I answer.
Sure. So we're gonna for this round we're gonna take 3 to 4 questions first.
Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, Pak Anies. Good afternoon. My name is Prima. I'm an MPA student from Indonesia. So I would like to talk about the transparency that become your 3 principle to for managing the crisis. Okay. In the crisis and that period, I mean, what really made you think that it is the best option to open to the people? Somehow during the crisis, when you open the data, the real data, the fact to the people, somehow it can drive to the chaos, right? In additional, it is also in contrast with what the national government doing. So what really made you think that to be open to the public is the best option at the time? Thank you
so much. We move to the second question from someone in the back.
Thank you. Thank you for the very nice presentation. I really enjoyed. My name is Digonto Das. I'm an associate professor at NIE. This is something related to the context of urban resilience, and you have already talked about the context of urban resilience in relation to Jakarta during pandemic. And I was wondering if you could kindly share a little bit more about Jakarta's kind of context of urban resilience in relation to population, and that's socio-economically lower section of people. I understand that Jakarta has a huge number of informal workers as population, and what kind of support was provided in Jakarta during the pandemic time? Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Digonto Das. Yeah.
Next questions from the lady. Yeah.
Thank you, Banis. I'm Lily. I'm a doctor in education student at NTU. It's very interesting to hear you uncover the hurdles that you face, especially during the beginning of the pandemic. And as you mentioned, it happened because of the overarching opinion that goes around at the time that it's better to sort of shut off the reality, which for me might happen like every day in our leadership experience. What I would like to ask you is that how do you deal with that and how do you rise above it? You see the conflicting between the reality and the political opinion that goes around. Yeah, I would like to hear that as leadership experience. Thank you so much.
Great questions. Pak Anies, do we need to take another one or? Okay.
First, Prima, your questions, why you choose to be open in terms of data. Yes, we went through that conversation for practical reasons. Number one, it's about our values. When you are confronted with crisis, your true values will be something that you hold upon. If you're not experiencing a crisis, then it's not your true values. When you experience the crisis, that's the time where your true values emerge. And we thought, and we believe that everyone deserves to know what is happening in a holistic way. And we think it's everyone's right to have that information. That's from the values point of view. The second is more from the pragmatic point of view. If you are dealing with a one-time crisis, you can hide the numbers. But if you're dealing with a repeated crisis for 2 years, you cannot hide the numbers. You just can. If you're experiencing an earthquake, some say 500 people were killed. Some were saying it's 300. And some were saying 600. But the event has passed. Right? But if it is repeating every day for the next 2 years, how can you hide the numbers? If you lied at the beginning, you will be lying next day. You will be lying against next day. Because you have to cover up the untruth data that you presented earlier. And that's the mindset that we adopt. It's going to be long-term. There is no way you can lie because they will uncover the truth. That's why we adopted that principles. If we hide those numbers, the statistics, eventually we will face problems. And we do face problems in terms of, not because of, we are facing problems that we thought fortunately we're telling the truth. This is the problems. We're running out of space on our cemetery. The slot that is available, we have many cemeteries. We allocated 2 cemeteries for COVID casualties. And in those 2 cemeteries, the area is full. So we need to open up new cemeteries only for COVID victims in the northeast of Jakarta. It's completely new land being cleared up. Imagine if we didn't go public with initial casualties at the beginning. How do you explain this lack of space for death in Jakarta? But since we did go public and we tell the truth, then over time, people realize that I will trust him. I will trust the government because he's telling the truth. At the beginning, the reaction was, you are exaggerating the problem. I don't like it. You're creating chaos. I don't like it. But over time, as this problem continues, they started to realize, I better listen to him because this is the truth. And that's what we tried to build from the very beginning. Yeah. Second questions. When we started restrictive measures of controlling mobility, everyone needs to work from home, studies from home, worship from home. What did we do? We provided supports for families who needs basic needs to be supplied by government. Let me give you an illustrations on the populations of Jakarta. You mentioned earlier, some were living in the low socioeconomic status in I would say neighborhood of that groups in the cities. Jakarta has 11 million people. And we have 3.2 million families. 11 million people, 3.2 million families. 900,000 families were receiving monthly food supplies from government, 900,000 every month on a non-crisis time. During this crisis, we are distributing that 900,000 to all families every 2 weeks. On top of that, we ask head of leaders in the neighborhood, which is Ketua RT, to identify individuals who lost their jobs, who cannot make a living because of the restrictions. And the number increased from 900,000 households into 2.4 million households. Okay? So 2/3 of the people in Jakarta were under our responsibility for their basic needs. And those data were collected by the local leaders. So the process, that 900 is data that we had prior to the crisis. We asked local leaders to add more. And the verification is not from us, the verification is from the community. And they usually don't lie in that community. At times of crisis, they will say, you know, you may have cars, but if you have no incomes, then that car is useless. In the past, if you have a car, you're not recipients of subsidies. But that, you know, during a normal period, if you have cars, you have nice home, and you have income. When economic activity stops, you may have good house, you may have cars, but there's no income coming in. So those without incomes were receiving support, 2.4 million. And I often tell our business community, we did not ask you to provide the monetary support to those who is in need at all. But let me tell you, if government did not intervene and provide that, the city will be experiencing a chaos. Okay? If people cannot eat and households were unable to cook, we are facing chaos. So the absence of chaos is because we intervene immediately. And our state-owned enterprise, which is Pasar Jaya, we're running one of the most massive food distributions ever in the history of Jakarta, in the history of Indonesia. Within 2 weeks, they have to distribute food to 2.4 millions, and the 1.6 millions were new households. The 600 millions were the regular one. It was a massive project. And to distribute the food, the boxes of this food to the communities, I'm asking the army to help us. And when the truck of the army coming into the neighborhood, it's all safe. Everyone wait, because the army is the one who handed it on. And the army is doing it, of course, all is pro bono. This is a humanitarian mission. So it is a collaboration. So our state-owned enterprise prepare that, and then channeling it. Our army is helping on distributing to the local leaders, and then the local leaders distributing to the household. It was a massive project for resilience approach. And that has helped Jakarta avoiding chaos that some cities were experiencing when restrictive measures of mobility is being adopted. So that's behind the scene process. And again, I haven't actually shared this story many times. This is actually the first time we share some of these stories. And I have to say that our challenge in government is often our bureaucrats were worried about making decisions at time of crisis. What they are worried is not about the decision today. What they are worried is about the auditors coming in next year. Okay? Look, you have to decide now, how do you do the procurement? Right? On the other hand, the people needs the food immediately. That's you have to decide. If you do the regular procurement method, it will take that period of time, and then chaos will be there. But if you do a speediest process, the auditors later on will come back to you, you're not following this SOP. And when the audit was done, usually the crisis has already been over. So you're no longer facing the crisis. Same thing. The face covering mask. During the crisis, the price was so expensive. When the audit was done the following year, the price already dropped. And then you're saying, why you're paying this much for a face mask? Not today. And this is lesson learned that leadership of nations will have to adopt to ensure that local bureaucracy is willing to make decision quickly if they are truly protected from issue of governance. So that's just additional topics to add to you. Lily, reality, yeah, it was challenging. It was challenging. Some I will not be able to share today, but I will at some point share. But what is or what is happening in our mind during that time? I tell our friends, our teams, let's not worry about what people say today. Let's not worry about what is being written in the news. Let's not worry about what is being written in the social media.
Halo teman-teman, berjumpa bersama saya di Politik Dangi. Ya, luar biasa sekali ya Anies Baswedan ini ya, dicecar dengan pertanyaan-pertanyaan tajam, bahkan bahasa Inggris dari profesor-profesor luar negeri, teman-teman. Ini sungguh mengagumkan ya, Anies ya. Berbeda dengan wapres kita Gibran yang diskusi itu lebih banyak kepada siswa-siswi, teman-teman, bukan mahasiswa, ataupun profesor ya. Anies Baswedan memang membanggakan kita semua ya, apalagi beliau ini seorang intelektual yang luar biasa ya. Ilmunya cukup tinggi dan membuat kita itu merasa bahwa Pak Anies ini layak dan pantas menjadi pemimpin kita di masa depan. Bagaimana menurut kalian?